Hi guys, my name is Ahmad Fadil Lamputra, and for today we are going to talk about what is poetry and what are the function of poetry. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So the first one, what is poetry? Well, in short definition, poetry is actually a work of art that allow the author to express their feelings. So the poetry can also be a platform for the author to be vulnerable and share the experience in a certain rules that need to be followed. So that is what makes poetry different than other literary works such as novel or drama or even movie, because poetry followed simple rules such as poetry needs to have a stanza, a group of lines of poetry that consists of like 4 or 5 lines or more or less. But also poetry needs to have rhyme such as ABAB, AAAA, ABCD, whatever that is. And also poetry, the crucial thing or the unique thing about poetry is that poetry allows the author to be ambiguous in sharing the story. So in novel or drama, their work needs to be detailed in telling the story in order to be consumed well by the audience or by the reader. But poetry allows for the author to play an ambiguity role in telling the story, in telling the message. In that way, the reader can interpret the poetry based on the reader's experience or reader's feelings. So now we're going to talk about what are the functions of poetry. Well, there are several simple functions of poetry. So the first one, like I stated in the beginning, poetry allows the author to express their feelings. So if the author feels sad, feel happy, feel love, they can pour it out into a form of poetry. And then the second one is poetry can be a platform to express and share experiences. So you can make a poetry about this party that you went to in New Year's Eve. You can make a poetry about this night that you spend with your friends and did not sleep through the whole night. You can make poetry about the experience. So it kind of gives you a freedom in what you want to tell, as long as you play in a certain rules that has been stated in the rules of poetry. And then the third one is that poetry can be used as a communication kind of like ideas or platform. So poetry can be used to share kind of like a social commentary about feminism, racism, discrimination. That is also allowed in poetry. And the last one, poetry can be a form of inspiration. So when we feel sad, we look at poetry and we get inspired to feel happy again, or be inspired to feel certain feelings again. Those are the function of poetry that we can all implement in our life. So we have reached the end of our video. I am very hopeful that we all can learn more about poetry and its function. So that is all that I can share for you today, and see you next time. Bye!